Hey everyone, One Big Boss here. Welcome back to yet another episode of New to Retro Reviews. This week we're taking on Resident Evil 3 Nemesis for the PlayStation 1. So, without further ado, let's get this infectious game underway. I'd like to say, first off, I apologize for my voice. I'm actually getting a cold or a sore throat or something. I've been eating like throat lozenges and mints all day just to, keep my voice as normal as I can. So, bear with me, alright everyone? Thank you.
And that lack of strength would ultimately lead to their destruction.
Here's the story to the game. Former STARS member and fan favorite Jill Valentine returns in the third installment of this franchise. Set a few months after the mansion incident and 24 hours before the events of Resident Evil 2, Jill Valentine and surviving STARS members are disbanded and now trying to bring Umbrella down. Jill herself is making her last escape from Raccoon City while she can, but is also stalked by Umbrella's newest biological weapon, the Nemesis, an unstoppable killing machine, sent in to destroy any remaining STARS member that's still alive within the city. This was the game that changed Resident Evil for me, but in a good way, I assure you. But more on that later. But this game, I'm telling you, I know a lot of people had their ups and downs about it, but this was very, very different from its predecessors, which is what we're going to find out now. As you would expect at this point, the control style for Resident Evil 3 isn't too much different from Resident Evil 1 and 2, but there have been some improvements. So, you should be pretty used to the layout of the game, what buttons do what, organizing items and such. But if you're playing Resident Evil 3 for the first time, or, you're going to have a little bit of a learning curve if you're just starting the series from the third game. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis also includes the new 180-degree spin that enables the controller to escape from enemies quickly, which is very handy if you are playing with a knife, because if anyone has played the previous two games, you knew how hard it was to play with a knife and how constricting it felt when you were locked in by enemies. Also good was the auto-aiming. Locking onto enemies that may be hidden by awkward camera angles are no longer a problem. You're able to just lock on to any enemy that's closest to you and fire away. It's as simple as that. Another brilliant feature added to Resident Evil 3 was the dodge maneuver. This can be extremely helpful in a lot of situations, or in other situations extremely dangerous, but more on that later. For now, all you had to do to execute a dodge move was to hold one of the top trigger buttons and press the fire button. Or you could press one of the top trigger buttons and you would dodge to the side. This was something that really, I believe, was heavily welcomed by the fans of this game, because as you can see here, zombies can now go up and down stairs, and they are a lot faster than they used to be, so it's actually a very handy tool to have. Although, like I said, sometimes it's not your greatest friend in the world, but like I said, more on that later. Another gameplay change was you started the game off as Jill Valentine only, and are unable to choose a second character, unlike previous titles. Later on, you switch roles to Carlos, for a brief time in the game anyway. Much like the style between Chris and Rebecca from Resident Evil 1, or Leon and Ada, or Claire and Sherry in Resident Evil 2. After a few trials and tribulations, cutting down some undead monsters, you will eventually control Jill once again, and won't get to control Carlos again for the rest of the game. It's sad, but the game is more focused on Jill, if anything. Also, we cannot forget about the new and very favorite feature of mine, the making of ammunition. During the events of Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, Jill will acquire various guns throughout her trek through Raccoon City, and she will also pick up two types of gunpowder, A and B. The third kind has to be mixed by mixing both A and B to get C. This is a very unique and very interesting way to gather ammo, and it seems pretty realistic too, instead of just finding ammo in a potted plant in a mansion or something. I mean, you still find ammo in weird places, like on dead bodies here in the game and stuff, but this is really a handy feature, especially if you're going to take on the Nemesis on hard mode, because beating the Nemesis on hard mode will enable him to drop various gun parts for you to collect for stronger guns later on. The only downside to the ammo, it seems, is that it's a time killer, and a space killer as well. If you're trying to run through the game and just beat it and get the best score possible, then don't bother collecting ammo, run from every fight, and conserve the ammo you find along the way, because honestly, if you don't know what you're doing with the ammo, you're also going to be in trouble, because you're going to end up making handgun bullets by accident instead of making shotgun shells. Another nifty little change that comes up from time to time is the live selection mode in the game. Certain points of the game will make you choose two options to deal with the problem at hand. it can alter whether or not you get weapon parts or take longer to complete the game. These happen when the Nemesis shows up from time to time and can be very helpful in getting the secret items that he holds on his body. That's if you choose hard mode. Other times it'll take you into different paths of the game and you will get different cutscenes and different endings to the game if done the right or wrong way. Also, if you do this and choose the wrong one, you may miss out on extra ammo, or you may miss out on special ammo from a character, or different cross paths you're gonna come up to do puzzles differently. Not like differently, like the puzzle itself is not that different, but you may just get to that puzzle a little bit sooner, or it just may cause you to lose time if, again, you're playing the game to beat it in a speed run, you know, trying to like not saving, just beat it as fast as you can. But you must choose wisely, honestly, when you use the live selection mode, because like I said, it can alter the way this game works. And I think that was pretty good. I really liked how Capcom decided to throw that little gift in there to us, you know, because it adds. Because the thing of it is, you only have a few seconds to decide, so, you know, after you play through the game a couple of times, you know which selection does what, and you'll know what to do, but playing through this the first time, I had problems. And what I mean by problems is, back in 1999, I wasn't that good at reading. I'm not really that good at reading. I get confused when I try to read too fast, and that's what happened with this game. I couldn't really read. I'd get confused at what I was reading. I mean, even though it's only like, it shows right here, like it's just a small word, you know, push them off or jump off, anything. Some of the other ones, I just got confused. I mean, 1999, I was still like a pretty young kid, 24 now, no time for math. But, like I said, a couple times through the game, you'll know which one does what, and you'll know how to get through the game. But it's a good addition, and I've welcomed it. Now on to the graphic and sounds. Well, graphic-wise, it's somewhat better than Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 2, despite everybody's fingers still being glued together and very poor body movement. But the voice acting has improved, and nobody can take that away from this game. But the game still retains that sense of chaos and fear, especially with the Nemesis constantly hunting you down. You don't get a break half the time. You think you're safe, you turn away from the door, and he comes busting right through. The music was actually pretty good in this game. Some of the tracks aren't as memorable as previous installments, but it's not a bad thing because they all did fit pretty well together. It was a beautifully composed soundtrack. I mean, nothing really caught my ear, but I still respect the job that the composers did, because without it, this game, Resident Evil is about themes, you know, music, darkness, horror. All that needs to be added, and it can't be done without good music, and this is what this did. This game had that. I mean, you know, the Nemesis theme is really good. The ending theme of the game is not bad. And what's the... Oh, of course, the save theme. You gotta love that. But yeah, music was great, graphics are great. I mean, look at these cutscenes. They're not using live action ones, and they're somewhat better than the Resident Evil 2 ones anyway. At least they look somewhat human. I mean, do you remember how thin Leon looked in the second game? He looked anorexic. Well, it's that time again. The good and the bad. Nobody likes to hear the bad, but it's gotta be done. So, I might as well do it. The good of this game is the open exploration of the famous Raccoon City. The various places we see in this game from Resident Evil 2, we go back to the Raccoon Police Department, you know, we get to go to the STARS office again, you know, it's all here. It's really great, and it's something that we get to see later in Resident Evil Outbreak. Certain levels that you came across in Resident Evil 2 and 3, you'll come across in Outbreak later on. It's pretty good. It's really a huge city. Lots to find, lots to explore, lots of nostalgia and everything, so it's all here. Also, I love the challenge of the Nemesis in this game. Unlike William Birkin and Trenchy from Resident Evil 2, the Nemesis was a lot faster, a lot more deadlier, and was tougher. Due to his ability to use a rocket launcher, his brutal strength, and his speed. His pursuit of Jill rarely stopped, and you must make good use of your guns and your ammo. And how good you are with dodging, because the Nemesis will just drain you of all your ammo before you know it, and your herbs and healing items. He's, because if you remember, William Birkin and Trenchy cornered you in rooms and stuff. I mean, you could escape sometimes, but they never followed you. Nemesis will continue to follow you to certain areas. At one point he will stop, but he will catch you at times. So, it's good if you can either take him out with a high caliber weapon, or you know how to dodge and can just keep running from him, because honestly, he'll just drop right out of the sky half the time. I also enjoyed the various challenges and puzzles the game had, plus the unlockables and the Operation Mad Jackal mode. That was pretty cool. You know, you gotta play through the game a couple times to get everything, but it's really worth it in the end. I also enjoyed the ammo making in this game as well. It's a nice little feature. Sometimes a little bit frustrating, because I remember years ago I was horrible at it. I couldn't do it to save my life. I screwed up so many times, wasted so much gunpowder. But my buddy Josh always played the game with me, and he was in charge of making the gunpowder at one point. And then, you know, years went on, and I learned finally, and well, like I said, it's a damn good addition to the game. I'm really glad they added it, because I wish it's something that returned in later installments instead of just finding it laying around, like, and having it always available to you in Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 5. The people who's played those games, they know exactly what I'm talking about.
You want stars? I'll give you stars.
And now, on to the bad. Okay, the game was short. It can be beaten in under 2 hours. I mean, hell, it's like an hour and 30 minutes. Excuse my horrible score, but I went through this as best I could to show everybody everything, to get everything ready for the clips. But, yeah, I mean, the game is really short, but that's my complaint with it. I mean, it doesn't make it a bad game. I just wish it could have been longer, maybe longer parts playing as Carlos, maybe, you know, playing as Nikolai, you know. My other complaint with this game, as much as I love the dodging ability, sometimes I just felt that it got in the way. Like, if you were next to a wall and you tried to dodge, you could dodge, but you would dodge into the wall and you would still get attacked sometimes. And certain areas that are blind, you're not able to see all the way around the corner, and it's hard to dodge sometimes, and you don't know something's there. Like right here, how the hunter keeps getting me even though I dodged and everything. It was really a pain in the ass sometimes. It killed me a lot when I was younger, and I didn't carry many herbs on me. So, yeah. My final complaint are the puzzles. Some are easy, and some are just downright ridiculous, like this clock one. I'm not good at math, but beside the point, even my friends who are good at math, this took a lot of time to figure out, and it was one of the most time-consuming puzzles of the game that I came across. So for the third installment of the series, is Nemesis a buy? Despite it not being commercially successful as the first two games, Nemesis stands strong as one of the best looking and greatest of the Resident Evil series. It's been ported to various systems and is available on the PS1 Classics for about $10 by now. The change up from the normal was the right choice for the game, and to this date it is still my favorite Resident Evil game. Despite some setbacks and little things, you know, the characters were way better in this game, better voice acting, plenty of unlockables, and replay value was very high. As old as the game is, my PS1 copy still works, and I'm very proud to still own that. Well everyone, that does it for episode 8. We leave the fate of Jill and Raccoon City behind us as we speed off to LA, where Bruce Willis battles terrorists in the 1980s. Based off the first 3 films, we'll be looking at the Die Hard trilogy for the PlayStation 1. I chose this because this week is Christmas, and not only is this my favorite movie of all time, it's also the greatest Christmas movie ever. And if you want to try to argue this, be my guest. Please. So, like always, if you haven't, please subscribe, because it's good for the channel, it's good for us, it's free, and in this day and age, free is a damn good thing. Also, you can find us on Facebook, or stalk us on Twitter too, and yeah, that's about it. So, I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, a Happy Holidays, and everybody please be safe, because it is going to get hectic out there the next couple of days, whether it's shopping, or weather, or people coming in to visit families. So, that's it everyone. Take care, and I'll see you all next time.